Hi there. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm just going to wait a few minutes to let everybody get here and come to the session or the class today, our live session, and make sure that we are on, on par. Just give it a minute. How are you doing today? If you are already here, let me know. Say hi. And I see that we are online. Wonderful. So yeah, definitely say hi. Let me know that you're here. I'd love to hear from you always. I like to get your energy and see that who's here. And if you're watching on a replay as well, let me know if you're watching on a replay because I can always come back and comment and make any clarification and also just to say hi to you because it's a space to say hi and a community for us to be in. So why not, right? How are you doing on this lovely Tuesday? Today is a little bit coldish and cloudy in Germany and a dark day today. I feel it kind of in my mood. I feel a little bit tired and I feel like really just crawling back into my bed today, but I have a list of things to do, so that's not exactly an option. But anyways, that's how it is sometimes. We have to just keep going with what it is, and I feel often my mood can be affected by the weather. I really prefer sunny days, although I know and fully understand that we need rain and cooler days as well. So anyways, let me know that you're here. I'd love to see your name on here and connect with you. Yeah. So we're gonna get started in a minute. Just giving a couple moments here for everybody to come in if they are able to see us and view us live today. Um, yes. So, how are you doing? How is everyone? Starting the month of April, seasons changing everywhere across the world. If you're living in somewhere like the tropics, you're getting into summer months potentially. Heat is turning up. That's the real deal there. Here, it's like I say, today, not particularly warm. We had snow last weekend. We had warmer weather in March, but that's spring. It's fickle like that, goes every which way. So, yeah, okay, so we're going to get started. We're a few minutes past the hour. I don't like to keep everybody waiting here just with me babbling. It's no fun, not for me or you. So, anyways, welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday live with Lori. And today I'm going to speak about diets and what's the difference between dieting and nutritional empowerment. We've all heard of diets. We all know, even the term diet, I feel like it's been so jaded already for so many years. We've been um, under the impression that a diet is one specific way to eat, and usually we use that when we want to lose weight. But actually, diet can be a much bigger, broader term that it's just the way we eat in general on a daily basis for potentially the rest of our lives. It doesn't have to be a specific set time frame, but it has really developed a negative connotation. So sometimes I do speak about the diet that we have in terms of just the foods that we eat on a regular basis. However, today I do want to speak to specifically dieting and when we specifically alter the food that we eat to lose weight. The most common reason we would diet. And yeah, I want to speak also about nutritional empowerment and those differences and what comes up for that. So just a little introduction about myself. If you're not familiar, my name is Lori Voss Furukawa. I am originally from Canada, but I've been living abroad for the past 17 years. I started out in Japan, moved to China. We came back to Japan for a short stint in between contracts, which was very stressful. Then moved to Germany. That's our home base. And then we had an opportunity to live in the Philippines. And now we're back in Germany and living here. So I've been a little bit spread out, and I really love Asia and living there. It's a place that really touched my heart, and I feel very connected to a lot of the wisdom that comes out of that beautiful area of this planet. So yes, today's topic again, the difference between dieting and nutritional empowerment. And I want to ask you, have you ever tried dieting before? Let me know in the comments. Is this something that you've had in your life before? And what kind of diets have you tried? I'm curious. I'm not here to judge you because I've also been dieting for many years, which I will get into right away. So yeah, just let me know. I'm just curious. And it's just a space to be open. It's a safe place to communicate and chat with. We're in our private Facebook group. So it's not public, although even if it is, it's still a safe place. I will not allow judgment or negative comments by other people as well. So feel free to let me know. Yeah, what kind of diets have you tried in the past? And did they work for you? How did you feel on them? What did you notice? Did you lose the weight? Did you gain the weight back? How was your body feeling? Did you notice a difference in your energy? These are all interesting, different little pieces about different diets that we can bring into our life. So if you're watching this on a replay, also type hashtag replay. Let me know that you're here. Answer the questions just as well as if you were watching live, because again, the interaction helps for you to shift energies as well. And it helps for me to understand what's going on in the audience and what you're going through and the energies I can feel. And then I can also know what topics potentially to talk about in the future, which is another thing I want to mention before I get deeper into today's topic. If there is anything specific you would like me to talk about or have a Tasty Tuesday episode on, let me know. You can put it also in the comments, but you're welcome to just send me a private message or email me as well. Because, yeah, I want to obviously have topics and conversations that are of interest for you and that can be somehow enlightening or bringing something to the space. So definitely let me know. Okay, so first, I'll give you a little history for myself, just so you understand also that I'm not just standing here preaching about what I think you should do or what I believe is the best way. I'll give you a little bit of my history and my story. So the first diet that I ever really remember seeing in my life was one that my mom went on, and I think it was like a 7-day soup cabbage or something, cabbage soup diet, something like this. And of course, that's like a specific one to help you drop weight really quickly. And I think it was something like you're only allowed to eat soup, this specific cabbage soup, for the 7 days, only that soup. That sounds like really painful and disgusting, although I don't mind cabbage soup, but for 7 days for every meal, blah, yeah, probably would make me lose weight, because I wouldn't want to be eating that anymore by the time I even hit probably the second day. And cabbage also is actually very detoxing, so it would be flushing out your body. It's very fibrous, so I could see the effects that you would get from doing something like that. Like I say, if you want to fit into a dress or something, you eat, do the diet now, and you lose the weight for the wedding on the weekend or something like that. But obviously it's very clear that's not a sustainable way to think about having, even maintaining the weight loss, right? So that was probably the first experience. I remember thinking kind of like, why would this, kind of scratching my head as a little girl. As I've mentioned in other videos or in other places as well, but I have had weight issues my whole life. It has been something that I struggled with. And as a young girl, I remember being teased for being fat. Well, what kids say. I can say overweight now to be more politically correct, but children are very brutally honest sometimes and no filters. And for being teased and poked at and bullied for basically being fat. I remember going home one day specifically and being really upset about some kids that had been bothering me or bugging on me. And I said to my mom, I remember specifically, she was standing at the kitchen sink, probably peeling potatoes for supper or something like that. And I said to her, like, this happened to me. I explained to her what happened at school, and that, someone called me fat and it really hurt. And I remember her looking at me and she said, well, why don't you go on a diet? And as a young child, it was kind of like, what? I think I was about 8 years old when that happened. I was kind of dumbfounded by my mom's response, maybe not even realizing what that fully meant by her response. And now I say these things only to share openly and honestly with you. I'm not here to put down my mother. I'm sure she was busy and had a million other things on her mind, and I'm absolutely sure she meant the best with such a comment, to try to help me, because maybe she also knew that I had a weight problem and didn't know how to also address it. So, putting that was basically maybe the best advice she was able to give. So I thought, okay, I walked away. I was still sad and still hurt inside. I didn't feel like my heart was feeling any better. But I thought, well, maybe that's a practical approach. Although I don't think I said that at the time of 8 years old, a practical approach. But in my child mind, I decided that, okay, I was going to do something. I was going to change it. So what I think I might have come back to my mom at one point or another in the near future and asked her, well, what can we do? What can I do? And I think we started with like changing the snacks. So instead of having a bag of chips in the evening or crisps, fried potato, this bag of fried potatoes things. I don't know, we call them different things in different countries. So instead of having that, I think we shifted to having like a popcorn without butter. even, so, and it was a homemade popcorn. It wasn't microwave popcorn at the time. So it was like, ooh, but it tasted like crap, basically, compared to eating all these other ridiculously chemically filled flavored foods that we often had and have as labeled really junk food and processed foods. But that's what I tried to do. And I tried to drink more water, limiting my soda or my sugary drinks. Did it work? I don't remember it working. I think I probably didn't like any of it. And it, like I say, I don't remember seeing any results. I had continued with weight issues for the rest of my uh, elementary days, high school days, and somewhat beyond. And then basically, yeah, as I grew older, um, I continued to have issues with my weight, body issues, not feeling comfortable and confident in myself. So as I was, I believe, like later teenage years, again, I was getting closer to graduating from high school, wanted to fit the dress and wanted to look good for graduation, all these kinds of things. I thought, okay, I want to get myself healthier. I want to do this. I probably made some simple alterations again to my diet, like I mentioned, maybe not eating a bag of chips, but having popcorn instead, something like that, trying to increase water. And I remember doing my best to be more active, even though we had gym classes or physical education classes at school. As we get to the end of high school age, they were not always as intense, or depending on how much you participated, it wasn't necessarily the best option. Or we had, I think, even semesters that we didn't have physical education. So there could have been 3 or 4 months of a term that there was no actual physical activity. And that age category, I didn't do much outside of school in that respect. I remember doing like I think it was Tai Bo. Ah, yes, that's what it's called. It was kind of like a kickboxing and physical aerobic type of exercise videos that we had bought and we had at home. And I remember doing that at home. And yeah, I would work up a good sweat and do this, but I don't remember either seeing a particularly big shift in my weight. If anything, I think I probably continued to eat all the junk food because I thought that I was doing more, so I could just continue to eat what I want, or even have a treat and eat another chocolate bar because since I've done something good, here you go, here's your reward, right? Which is also something we tend to do. Does that resonate with you? Have you done those kinds of things? Or reward yourself? If you go for a jog or something, you come home and reward yourself with a cookie. I've totally been there, done that. And sometimes I still do things that are in this habitual patterns that we carry or have, where we think we should get treats or rewards for the things that we do. But basically, it was a continuous yo-yo cycle. If I ever did lose a little bit weight, it came back right away because I wasn't really making the shifts. And I guess you could say that the first real success I had was when I was in university. I moved to the city, and I was on my own, and I was passing this one business storefront that I saw on a regular basis, and it was called Herbal Magic. So I decided to get the courage one day, and I went in there and I decided to sign up for their program. And it was basically taking herbal supplements to help detoxify and to help with weight management and balance in your system. But also there was a guided mentorship. So you had to go in a couple times a week and you got weighed, and you had to also do meal planning and write down all your meals that you were eating, all the foods that you were eating. So then they'd be able to basically say, oh, you went up on the scale today. Well, let's see, what did you eat? Ah, you had pasta 3 days this week. Well, that's what's going on. Or, oh, you had this dessert. Ah, okay. So it was very particular. They could spot it right away. So I quickly learned, well, I don't want to put that I ate a piece of cake on my diet. I don't want to get in trouble, right? I don't want to do that. So, I mean, who was I lying to? Myself, really. I knew why the scale wasn't getting lower. I knew why I wasn't dropping my number, but I didn't want to get in trouble for it. I didn't want someone scolding me for it. I didn't want to be, called out on it. So we lie and we cheat. We do things like that. We're humans, but really, in the end, who are we lying and cheating to is ourselves, ultimately. In the end, I think, so basically they weigh you when you first start, and then at the very end you get weighed, you get weighed continuously through it. And the idea is that they want you to lose weight at a healthy level, which is like, in Canada, we go by pounds. So it was like 1 to 2 pounds per week. Over this, we are actually not, it's not a healthy balance of weight loss. So basically, they monitor that. So they want you to lose approximately 2 pounds per week. And they calculate then by such and such an end date, you should be able to meet your BMI, your ideal body mass index. So I think I had 2 years of weight loss in this program where I had to commit to doing all these things regularly. And I did reach my weight loss goal. I remember I met the weight loss goal, and it was like I kind of almost like touched it, and I never touched it again. I immediately, I shouldn't say shot back up, but I got down to the ideal weight, and I immediately crept back up about 10 to 15 pounds, which is what, 7 kilos higher than that or so. So it wasn't a big difference, but I was not at that ideal weight of what they say you should be at it for your age and gender and ethnicity as well is factored in. And I never made that number again. So it felt like an unattainable goal. Basically, the mentors there said, well, your body maybe feels more comfortable here, this or that, or the plateau, or maybe, there are always different excuses. And the guide or mentorship we had for eating healthy, so. I say now, when I look back at the information that I have now, when I look back, yeah, it wasn't obviously maintainable, because after I completed the program, we still had to actual weight loss. We still had to go back to them for continued maintenance. And they wanted to check in, I think it was then only once a week or something, to make sure that you're still maintaining, because maintenance is really key. As we know, when dieting, we can very much so yo-yo. So just we reach the goal, but we want to be able to maintain. So I was able to maintain for quite a while with their support. After I was done with that, it was close to my time of leaving Canada, and I went to live in Japan. I was in my early 20s already. And at that point, living in a new country, eating different foods naturally, things were shifting in my body. I did my best to stay in the frame of mind of what I felt or what I knew at that point to be healthy eating, but it was challenging, and I was constantly fluctuating up and down, up and down, up and down. Even if it was 4 or 5 pounds or a couple kilos here, a couple kilos there, go up and down. Usually I didn't go down so much. It was mostly just up and a little bit down, up, a little bit up. So it was like almost like always mostly increasing. I don't remember specifically ever dropping. Like I say, I never reached that ideal BMI again. So a healthy way to lose weight, a healthy way for management, I don't think so, really, because there was this constant fear of, I need to maintain. How can I maintain this? And oh my God, I went up again, because I was at that point still constantly looking at a scale to guide me, to remind me of where I needed to be. If you use a scale and that helps you to be on a healthy space, that's okay. But for me, at that point in my life, it absolutely wasn't, because I was just looking at the number. I wasn't actually contributing or calculating what was I really putting in my mouth and how was that serving me. I would kind of calculate like, oh, I ate this big piece of cake today. Well, maybe I shouldn't have this instead. So I limited. I would limit. Sorry for that. I would limit my actual intake of calories without actually calculating calorie intake, but I would limit something else in order to be able to treat myself with the cake. And probably I was making the limit on something that I more likely needed than the piece of cake. However, we do what's best, what we can at the time. So it was clear that I hadn't really learned tools for healthy eating. And I absolutely did not touch on anything that was going on up here. And that's the really big difference for when we think about dieting versus nutritional empowerment. Because nutritional empowerment really comes from a self-empowered state of being, that we make the choices in our daily life that will nourish us on all levels. Do you see the difference here? So it's just focusing on weight loss and this kind of vanity external thing that we think we need to look a certain way and be a certain size. And it's okay if we do have weight issues. Yes, it's important to have a healthy weight, but how we go about that and how we attain that is really important and really key. Let me know if you're here. I would love to hear from you and see your name on here. And let me know as well, have you tried dieting? What is your experience? I'm really curious, because we all have had different experiences. And unfortunately, as women, I'm pretty sure the majority of us on this Western world planet have dieted in one form or another, if not multiple times. Again, not everybody has weight issues, but it is something that's very common because particularly of the Western food that's put in our space all the time. And also for the fact that we don't really learn underlying causes. Yes, Sarah, thank you. You said it doesn't work long term. Exactly. Well, even I said this Herbal Magic program that I was on, it was generally like, I would say that was a pretty long period of time that I could relatively maintain, but it didn't really function. And then I, of course, did notice that bigger, greater fluctuation as I got moved farther and farther away from the program because I didn't have the tools how to maintain. So one really interesting thing is when I was in the dieting phase, or like I say, in this phase of really focusing on weight loss, I was still often sick and I still carried a lot of unhealthy habits mentally. I still had a lot of self-hatred for my body, a lot of self-judgment for myself and for others. And basically, the body image concepts that I had were really strong, like really negative, and they were really strong and prominent. And that, in the end, the way we feel about ourselves affects how we live in this world. If we are constantly worried about an unhealthy weight, about having extra fat on our body, if this is a concern in terms of not liking the way the clothes fit us or not liking the way we look, and if it's coming from a space of, oh, I can't stand this extra space on my body because it looks horrible, and we generally hate ourselves for it or hate those body parts because of it, we can't fully step up and be in this world a loving, compassionate human being. It's natural. If we cannot exhibit that for our own self, how can we do that for others? How can we be an example for our children? How can we do this for future generations? How can we do this for, it can be for anybody in our lives, even if it's people that we are working with or anyone. How can we really and truly love others when we are not loving ourselves? And I'm sure you've heard that before, and it seems sometimes like a far off concept. What does this have to do with it? How come loving me means that I'm loving you? But actually, it really does, because when we carry that self-hatred, it's really hard, if not impossible, to fully love someone else because we're always looking for some other way how we can feel ourselves better, which leads to another huge point. When we focus just on dieting and weight loss, we're not addressing unhealthy food addictions, unhealthy eating patterns, and as I just mentioned, unhealthy thought patterns. And these are huge, enormous pieces that need to be addressed. It's like not addressing the elephant in the room, right? That kind of concept. When we don't talk about these things and we just focus on dropping the weight, whether or not it's a product line that you buy into and it helps you reach a weight loss goal, or you follow some fad or trendy diet that helps you reach a weight loss goal, you are denying the fact that these other components are playing key roles in your overall health, for your mental health, for your maintenance of your weight loss goals, and maintenance in your health. Because when we are generally having a healthy weight, generally we can have a healthy health. We can have health in our life. And also we have, I just forgot the last piece, what I wanted to mention. God, the healthy health threw me off there. Please laugh with me today. It's just one of those days. The last one was, I think, about the unhealthy thought patterns. And if I mention that twice, well, there you go. It's just extra important. So it is really important that we look at those factors and causes for what is contributing to our unhealthy weight. Like I say, are there habitual patterns of food addiction? And that's really common, that we go to food when we are having emotional issues, when we're having anxiety, when we're concerned, or when we don't know what to do. We fill in with something else because something inside is hurting. And that's pretty deep, but actually it doesn't have to be that difficult. And that's where nutritional empowerment And that nourishment on all levels reaches us to have that successful weight that we want, and also a healthy life that we all desire to have. I don't know too many people who want to be stuck in their unhealthy habits, although some people might, because maybe they feel like that's what's good for them without consciously knowing it. And that's okay too. I'm not here to convince anybody otherwise. But if you're interested in having that, we need to really look at a deeper level. If you really want to reach your weight loss goals and maintain them, and also sustainability, that was a piece that I think that came in and out quickly there, but the sustainability concept also of being able to maintain these healthy relationships with ourselves and with food. It's really key. So an example of a quite a trendy diet now that's been going on for quite a few years is the ketogenic diet, or commonly just called the keto diet. Basically, the keto diet was introduced, or yeah, we could say introduced as an anti-inflammatory diet specifically to help cancer patients. So there is a purpose for it. And yes, it can help with weight loss, and it will help. The idea is that it helps, it's an anti-inflammatory diet. That's why it helps with cancer, because cancer is actually part of cancer is an inflammation disease, or a problem of inflammation in our bodies. So when we have, not when we, if a person has cancer, having an opportunity to make a diet change like the keto diet can be a healthy option for them. However, it needs to be many factors considered, one of which is it is specifically for that healing purpose, and it is not a long-term sustainable diet. It has too high of a fat content, which will inevitably damage our liver. Why would you want to take a diet that's going to damage your liver? Even if you have cancer right now and you want to go on the keto diet, you don't want to have the keto diet for the rest of your life that's going to continue to damage your liver. This is absolutely counterproductive. We can all see that very easily. So if you have been on, or considering, or are on the keto diet, I recommend not doing this for more than 3 months, because you have potential to do severe liver damage for your body. Look at the facts. If you're doing these kinds of things, look at what is contributing factors. And that's a different, or another aspect, again, is if we think about nutritional empowerment versus diets. Nutritional empowerment really takes a holistic approach to the health and wellness and weight management. And also it's really taking in nature and the natural things that are available to us. If plants are out there and are available for us to eat, that means our body requires something from that plant. So if we go on a diet that, like if we just talk about the keto diet again, that is omitting a lot of different actual vegetables, because they are saying they're high in carbohydrates, and that's what they want to eliminate from the keto diet, or one of the things. A lot of these plants that you eliminate are high in antioxidants, among one thing, and antioxidants help us fight against aging. I notice a few people that I know personally who have been on the keto diet for longer than 3 months and have aged like you wouldn't believe. When I saw them, I had to actually control myself from being like, oh, oops, wow. Antioxidants is what basically gives us life and beautiful skin, and helps our skin to look nice, and helps our body. It helps a plethora of other things as well, but that's one thing. When we are taking something like this out of our diet for a long term, there will be negative side effects or consequences. And this is important to think about when or if you are considering putting a diet in your life. What is it for? What are the consequences? Do more research. And just a simple Google research, you might get the first 10 things saying keto is good for you. We need to dig deeper. We need to look at things from a holistic perspective. Where was this diet? Who recommended it? What was it made for? What are the purposes behind this? And again, what are we eliminating or taking out because it's so-called bad for us? It's important to think about these things. And like I say, that's where a holistic approach like nutritional empowerment really comes into play. And I specifically work with traditional Chinese medicine, or a TCM method. a TCM approach, nutritional approach to health and wellness. And that really does factor in the wholeness of our earth, the wholeness of our body. And that's where we can fully make a shift into ideal weights, make a shift into preventing health issues from arising in our body. And if we already have issues in our body with health, that we can start to reverse them. That is the key for sustainability, maintenance. Another diet that I'd like to mention is intermittent fasting. Most of us have all heard of that as well, commonly known also as IMF, intermittent fasting. Technically not a bad thing again either. And if you've studied with me or if you've heard me speak before, I have mentioned that it is a good thing. Again, we have to look at what are the concepts of IMF that we are implementing. So for example, I heard some friends doing intermittent fasting because they want to lose weight, and they are doing, so I questioned, so how do you do this? What's your protocol? And he said, this was a male friend. He said that he does 8-16. So that's an 8-hour window of eating and a 16-hour window of basically allowing our digestive system to rest. That concept alone is actually perfect. 8 hours for eating. So you eat your breakfast, your lunch, your snacks, supper in this 8-hour window, and the 16 hours the rest of the day, you refrain from putting calories into your body. Okay, so that's actually a good thing and can help us with weight loss, absolutely. However, next question, what time of the day do you start your 8 hours? This particular person said at lunchtime, at noon. Okay, so he's allows himself to eat from noon until 8 p.m. Goes to bed 10 or 11, maybe midnight, wakes up the next day, has his coffee in the morning, whatever. Again, lunchtime, noon till 8 p.m. He said it seems to be working. He's still a little bit of a pot belly, but he said, it seems to be working for me. I feel okay. It's good because I can still have dinner in the evenings with my colleagues and everything's okay. Okay, interesting. Again, I'm not here to argue with anybody. I just want to be able to give you another perspective of how things actually function in our body and not just moving toward diets that are going to potentially get us the results for weight loss, but we are making other harmful effects in our body. I mentioned it was actually in last week's Tasty Tuesday episode about breakfast and what to avoid, but I will reiterate, around 9 a.m., our body has, we have a gallbladder, and our body is instinctively ready to release bile to help break down the fats that we're potentially eating for breakfast. If we don't eat in the morning around 9 a.m., if we haven't eaten breakfast by then or around that time frame, the bile in our gallbladder does not get released. When it doesn't get released, what do you think happens? It has the potential to contribute to gallstones. Why would we want to contribute to gallstones? I have never experienced them. I know some people who have, and they said they were extremely painful. And I've heard from some people, females, who said it was even more painful than childbirth. I also haven't had the birth of a child going through my body, but I can imagine that it's not a tickling sensation. Let's put it that way. So it's really important to think of these facts. And I did mention this to this friend of mine, but he disregarded it because what he's doing, the time frame works for him because he can still eat in the evening with colleagues. And clearly gallstones aren't a problem for him today. So why should he be concerned about that? Okay. Like I said, we all have a choice. We all have free will. We can do whatever we want in this life, technically. So, good luck for him. I wish him the best. Also, another factor with that kind of time frame for eating is in the evening, it is best if we can have our last meal by preferably around 6 p.m. and be going to bed around, say, 10 p.m. There is a natural circadian rhythm that is in our body. Things and organs in our body naturally function throughout the night. and need resting and time for healing, time for repair. And when we are eating our dinner late at night, say if we eat the last meal at 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night, and probably a big plate full, or whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. If it's a dinner size portion or your last meal size portion, your body digestive fire is not at the same strength as it was 2 hours ago or 3 hours prior to that. So therefore, that food, when it's not digesting properly, guess what happens? Turns into potential toxic waste. Again, we are, when we do things like this, we are moving in the direction of causing potential problems in our body down the road. The problem is, or one of the problems is, most of us think, I'm fine today, so it's okay, no problem. And then, 5, 10 years down the road, when potentially cancer develops because we are not eliminating our waste and we have bowel cancer or stomach cancer, then we think, well, what did I do wrong? I was okay, or my body weight's okay. Yeah, we need to think about all these factors. And I'm not trying to sound negative or, Debbie Downer today or something like that. But these things need to be considered, because what we do today will absolutely affect us tomorrow and the next and the next and the next days to come in our future. So it's really important to think about these different concepts and aspects. And I also, still speaking about IMF, or intermittent fasting, I had another friend who had mentioned to me about being on an intermittent fasting diet, and it helped her to lose lots of weight. And I said, "Oh, wow. Okay." Again, ask, what's your protocol? What do you do? How do you manage? Yeah, I eat normal every day of the week, and one day of the week I'm only allowed 500 calories. Okay. Interesting. So one day of the week, it doesn't matter what you eat for those 500 calories, but you're only allowed 500 calories for that one day. So maybe it's a Starbucks latte. That's your meal for, I don't know, Wednesdays. Hmm. Okay. Sounds really nutritionally sound. Or maybe you have that day, that's your big piece of cake. I don't know. Or maybe you have a healthy one meal that day that's 500 calories. But again, we're not really having a holistic approach when we do these kinds of things, and therefore it contributes to further health conditions, illnesses, disease problems down the road. We might see the immediate results that we want of weight loss right now, but it doesn't maintain our health. And also, if you would go back to eating regular food 7 days a week, you probably would see your weight increase as well, because now you're not having that one day with such a drop in calories. So, again, we have to look for balance. And that's where nutritional empowerment and a TCM nutritional perspective to health and wellness really provides that balance. We got that yin yang that is giving us both sides, that duality, both sides. We want that balance. And recently, actually, when I was making all the final preparations for my nutritional empowerment program that just started yesterday, and I'm so excited about it, I realized that TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, has another acronym for me, which I do like acronyms because it helps you remember things. Still working with TCM, but total care method. And that resonates with me in the core of my being. Total care method. Because that is our absolute best diet, best approach to health and wellness. And it will give you the opportunity to address what's going on up here. Why do I still have these unhealthy food addictions or thought patterns or things that are contributing? What's going on? We need to address those things. And also addressing what's the energy of the food that I'm eating? Why should I be eating this food? Why is this food serving me, or why is this food not serving me? And that's where we get into the process. I'm getting ahead of myself. The concept of processed foods and how they don't actually serve us, because there's such a limited nutritional value in them and an extremely high burdening value in them for our body. And when something's a burden, it is potentially contributing to bringing disease, illness, and other unhealthy conditions in our body. So it's really key to take that nutritionally empowered approach that involves total care method, and it has a nourishment on all levels. I think you can see where I'm going with this, or where I've gotten already with this, because we're just about to wrap up. If you have any questions or need clarification, absolutely let me know in the comments. You can feel free also to PM me, DM me, private message me, direct message me, whichever you want. Also, if you're in, you can message me on Facebook, send me an email, WhatsApp me if you have my phone number as well. I'd be happy to address it. And of course, when you write questions or comments in a feed like this, under this kind of space, it gives the opportunity for other people to also see and understand what's going on. It's not just me standing up here preaching, which is really the last thing I want to be doing, because I want to be actually empowering you with healthy information so you can live the best life that you have available to you here. It's really key. So yes, I think I just have also, some notes here for myself to make sure I get the key points. I always go over that for myself. I'm not just talking off the top of my head, although sometimes I can do that and get some pretty good transmissions for you too. Absolutely. So yes, basically what we want to be able to do when we think about weight loss goals is really addressing the underlying causes, at the same time working towards eating healthy foods that will be able to help you reach your weight management goals and help you maintain a healthy life as well. And the beautiful thing about it is that when you do that as an individual, you are absolutely positively affecting future generations and the health of our entire planet. Because the information you would learn through nutritional empowerment, through a TCM nutritional perspective approach to health and wellness, absolutely, positively, 110% factors in what is going on in the world around us, what is going on within ourselves. And that allows us to be empowered, to make empowered choices, and to live our best lives. And that's what we want. Seeing this number on the scale going up or down is really, like I say, okay, good, great. You got a smaller number. You can fit your old dress. Wonderful. Enjoy your new dress or enjoy your old dress. But is this really how you want to be in this fear space of, oh my God, I ate a piece of cake. Am I going to gain weight again? Whoa, what's happening? We need to heal what's going on in here, what's going on in here, to maintain a whole healthier system. Thank you so much for listening today. If you are interested in being nutritionally empowered or becoming nutritionally empowered, as opposed to just losing weight or just taking even prescription medicine, I didn't even mention that today, but just taking pills in order to prevent health issues or to deal with health issues, when you really want to do your best to get to underlying issues. And I'm not saying prescription medicine isn't necessary. It absolutely is for certain conditions. And I want you to be, I'm not judging people for doing that either. I understand that there is conditions that we need to do that, but there is absolutely way too many health conditions that people go to see their doctor for, and they just receive a prescription medicine because they are not addressing the underlying causes. It happened to me, and it was pushed on me for many, many years. And that's another episode that we can get into. But it's important to take that empowered approach to your health and wellness. If you want, you can contact me. I will have time for you to set up a clarity call. We can discuss where you're at and where would be the next best steps for you to move in the direction you want. You can send me an email at ninalori@easternbalance.org. You can also, like I said earlier, message me on Facebook. If you have my WhatsApp number, you can message me there as well. I'm available to help you and to bring out the best in you so you can be the best in this world, to help really and truly make this world a better place from the bottom of your heart, because that's where I come to you, from the bottom of my heart. Honest and truly, I am passionate about empowered living and helping other people to live their best lives, because the truth is, when we're sick and we're unwell and we're fighting ourselves with self-hatred and self-disgust, we can't really live the best life that we were meant to live on this planet. That's the real truth. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this video, to be here with me. Let me know in the comments again, what's your experience with diets? Because it's just interesting to share different things and to talk about this and get it out in the open. Let's get rid of these secrets that we have to try to keep. There was years and years and years and years I never told anybody that I went on that Herbal Magic program because I was so ashamed that that was something I felt I had to do. What? Why? It was something I did because I felt I wanted to do it. We don't need to be ashamed of these kinds of things. It's okay. So thank you again for taking the time to be here. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best. Send me a message if you want to do, like I say, talk about potentially becoming nutritionally empowered. It's an amazing program that I just started yesterday. There will be another round coming up in 3 months, so you can start to mentally prepare yourself for it. It's exciting, it's fun, it's transformational. So take that and enjoy. Thank you so much for being here, and I wish you all the best. Lots of love. Take care for now. Bye-bye.